Hey, hello. Hope you're having a good week. I drew out Acts sketchbooks. Thank you for joining me in reading it and getting the word into us and have a little quiet time. I'd like to try to do a Bible challenge this year. I've got 16 sketchbooks I've been drawing, and hopefully it helps people, brings people in, catches their eye, and gets them to read the Bible. The Bible won't, God's word won't return void. So let's look at Paul and what's happening. He having a lot of suffering and persecution. He went to the temple and was recognized and arrested. But the soldiers don't really understand why he has been arrested or what's going on. Examine him under scourging to see why they are shouting so. So they're about to flog him, and Paul says, "Hey, I'm a Roman. Are you supposed to be doing this to a Roman?" So the centurion soldier went to the commander and said, "What are you going to do? This man is a Roman citizen." So that they're in trouble because he is probably protected. The commander said, "I had to pay a lot of money for my citizenship." And Paul says, "But I was born a citizen." And Paul got mad at him. "You whitewashed, God will strike you, you whitewashed wall. You sit there to judge me according to the law, yet you yourselves violate the law by commanding that I be struck. So you hypocrites. You're judging me, but you are disobeying the law by striking me." And then those who were standing near Paul said, "How dare you insult God's high priest?" So I guess he's a judge and a high priest. And Paul says, "Brothers, I did not realize that he was the high priest, for it is written, 'Do not speak evil about the ruler of your people.'" Do not speak evil about the ruler. That's hard to do, huh? Then Paul, knowing that some of them were Sadducees and the others Pharisees, called out in the Sanhedrin, "My brothers, I am a Pharisee, descended from Pharisees. I stand on trial because of the hope of the resurrection of the dead." So there was a great dispute and uproar, and the Sadducee split and the Pharisees split. I think they say they're Sadducee because they don't believe in the resurrection. So they were divided and argued vigorously. "We find nothing wrong with this man. What if a spirit or an angel has spoken to him?" There's nothing wrong. What if he is being spiritual and following something spiritual spoke to him or an angel spoke to him? The dispute became so violent that the commander was afraid Paul would be torn to pieces by them. We don't want Paul torn to pieces, so he's going to go to the barracks, the sleeping quarters. Go get him and take him to the barracks, says the commander. I need Paul. I'm going to go take him to the barracks. The following night, the Lord stood near Paul. "Be of good cheer, Paul, for as you have testified for me in Jerusalem, so you must also bear witness at Rome." So Paul is going to be used by the Lord. The next morning, some Jews formed a conspiracy, a plan, and bound themselves with an oath, a promise, not to eat or drink until they had killed Paul. So no food or drink, we must kill Paul. And that's 40 of them. And the son of Paul's sister, so Paul's nephew, heard about it and goes to Paul. "Paul, the Jews want to kill you. Centurion, take this young man to the commander, for he has something to say to you." So the centurion takes Paul's nephew to the commander, and the commander took the young man by his hand and drew him aside and asked, "What is it you want to tell me?" "The Jews ask that you bring Paul to the council tomorrow, but don't do it. More than 40 men are waiting to kill him." "Okay, don't tell anyone you reported this to me." Then he called 2 of his centurions and ordered them, "Prepare 200 soldiers, 70 horsemen, 200 spearmen to go to Caesarea at 9 p.m. Okay. Acts 23:24. Provide horses for Paul so that he may be taken safely to Governor Felix. Bring horses to Paul so that he can safely go to Governor Felix. He wrote a letter as follows. Claudius Lysias, to his excellency, Governor Felix, greetings. This man was seized by the Jews. When I was informed of a plot to be carried out against a man, I sent him to you at once. I also ordered his accusers to present their case to you against them. When the cavalry arrived in Caesarea, they delivered the letter to the governor and handed Paul over to him. The governor read the letter and asked what province he was from. Learning that he was from Cilicia, he said, I will hear your case when your accusers get here. Then he ordered that Paul be kept under guard in Herod's palace. So the cavalry arrived and said, here's your letter and your prisoner to Governor Claudius. So province Cilicia, Herod's palace. The governor read the letter and asked what province he was from. Okay, what province are you from? I need to draw this over again. I'm not making sense. The governor says, what province are you from? Cilicia. He said, I will hear your case when your accusers get here. Then he ordered that Paul be kept under guard in Herod's palace. So poor Paul is arrested and taken here and there. Goes to Herod's palace, Acts 24:22. Then Felix, who was well known with the way, and adjourned the proceeding. When Lysias, the commander, comes, he said, I will decide your case. Decision is when Commander Lysias comes. So Acts 24:22. Maybe I skipped a good part. I have missing pages as well. I need to redo this, but... And Felix, who was well acquainted with the way, adjourned the proceeding. When Lysias, the commander, comes, I will decide your case. Adjourned. Dismissed. He ordered the centurion to keep Paul under guard, to give him some freedom and permit his friends to take care of his needs. Well, that's nice. So Felix said the guard could allow friends to come and take care of him and help him with his needs. Paul, here are some things for you. Sorry about these ink blots or whatever that is. Thank you, says Paul. And he's still under arrest, but he gets some freedom. Several days later, Felix came with his wife, Drusilla, who was Jewish. He sent for Paul and listened to him as he spoke about faith in Jesus. As he talked about righteousness, self-control, and the judgment to come, Felix was afraid and said, that's enough for now. You may leave. When I find it convenient, I will send for you. So Felix came and visited with his Jewish wife, Drusilla. And I guess they were eating. Paul talked about self-control, righteousness, judgment, and faith in Jesus. And Felix was afraid. Stop. That's enough for now. At the same time, he was hoping that Paul would offer him a bribe. Will you give Felix a bribe? Give him some money? So he knows about Christianity. He knows about Jesus, but he's hesitant. He doesn't want to commit. And he's looking for money. So he sent for him frequently and talked with him. Here I am. Let's talk, Paul says, but he doesn't give him a bribe. Bring me Paul. Maybe he'll give me a bribe. Not a bride, a bribe. So he sent for him frequently and talked with him. When 2 years had passed, Felix was succeeded by Porcius Festus, but because Felix wanted to grant a favor to the Jews, he left Paul in prison. So Paul and Felix probably have a good relationship, but Felix, after money, wants to do a favor for the Jews and keeps Paul in prison for 2 years. Kind of like Joseph in prison, huh? He's innocent, but still in prison. So maybe you're innocent of something, but you're still condemned and going through something, even though you're innocent. Just keep looking to God, the good Lord, and He'll see you through. So let's talk more about this later in Paul's adventures. Have a good, blessed day.